Hi, I'm Sylvia and welcome to my channel. Today I chose to speak about a few indicators that can show a new relationship coming into your life. But before we get into that, I just want to mention that if you like my video, if you like my content, then you can always feel free to subscribe to my channel. And before I start speaking about these indicators that can show a new relationship coming into your life, I want to mention the fact that it is very important to have more than two, three, and or even four indicators that can suggest a new relationship coming into your life or a new partner coming into your life. So, when we speak about new relationships and opportunities for new relationships, we need to speak about Jupiter. You probably know that in other of my videos, I spoke about Jupiter and how important Jupiter is. Jupiter represents good luck. Jupiter brings opportunities into our life. It can bring blessings into your life. And Jupiter, of course, transiting into your seventh house can mean that during this period of time, you can find a lot of new potential partners. You can attract new people, new partners, new opportunities coming to your life when it comes to your relationships. And of course, you can also attract, obviously, a new partner. Especially if you were looking for a relationship. Another indicator is Jupiter transiting your first house, because the first house represents your personal life, and Jupiter transiting your first house, it can mean that it can have a positive impact in your personal life. It can improve your personal life and bring into your life what you want. So during this time, you just have more luck, or you're luckier than usual. And let's not forget that when Jupiter is transiting the first house, it is also opposing the seventh house, the house of partnerships, which means that Jupiter in the first house also has an impact on the seventh house. Another indicator for a potential new relationship coming into your life is transiting Jupiter in your third house or 11th house, and this is because when Jupiter is transiting it's transiting the third house or the 11th house, it also trines your seventh house. So again, it has a positive influence on your relationships, and it can mean that you can attract new potential partners or relationships into your life. Then again, we need to speak about Saturn. And I know that there are some astrologers, or you can find on the internet, that Saturn transiting your seventh house can mean that you will be lonely and you will experience an emptiness when it comes to your relationships. But this is actually not always the case. I've seen that in my practice, that many times it's not actually the case. Transiting Saturn in your seventh house can mean that during this time you can meet a partner who is a lot more serious, more committed. You can attract a relationship who's very stable, and it has the potential of longevity. So this is not always a bad thing. Of course, it depends on the aspects that transiting Saturn makes or is making when is transiting your seventh house. If it makes a lot of tense aspects, then unfortunately, yes, there can be some obstacles or some problems that can make. I'm not saying that it makes it impossible for you to start a new relationship, but it can delay a bit. Let's say it can delay a bit your relationship, or starting. It can delay the start of your relationship. It doesn't mean that you won't have that relationship. It can just mean that it might take a while for it to start. And then we also need to speak about transiting Saturn in your third house or 11th house, and that's because it's trining your seventh house. So again, it has an impact on your seventh house, the house of your relationships. And then a very powerful tool or method of predicting the future, predicting relationships, especially very important relationships in your life, are the secondary progressions. Now, this can be a bit more difficult. Basically, progressions. How do you calculate progressions? Progressions represent, so each day after your birth represents a year of your life. This is what progressions mean. And you don't need to calculate anything. You can just go to astrotheme.com, and you can they have a calculator for your secondary progressions, so you can actually calculate your progressed chart there. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to type in your birth details, and that's everything. And you need to pay attention to your progressed planets and progressed angles. And for example, if your progressed Sun or progressed Moon, progressed Venus, or progressed Jupiter, and even Saturn, so if one of these progressed planets makes an aspect, especially a conjunction or a sextile or a trine, but the most powerful one is the conjunction. So if one of these progressed planets makes an aspect to your descendant, or if one of these progressed planets enter your seventh house, then this means that during this time you can start a very important new relationship, and a relationship that can be very meaningful to you. And I've also noticed that many times when the progressed Sun or progressed Venus makes a conjunction to the descendant, usually that person marries during that period of time. So progressions can also be a very good method to predict even marriages. That's how important they are. They're very powerful, very significant. I have used them, and they always work. That's all I can tell you. They work, so you can actually, if you don't know anything about progressions, I highly encourage you to do your progress chart and see what these progressed planets, what aspects they make to your natal chart. Another indicator for a new relationship coming into your life is when the progressed descendant makes an aspect, especially a conjunction, to your natal Sun or natal Moon, or your natal Venus, natal Jupiter, or natal Saturn. Another indicator is when the progressed Sun conjuncts your natal Venus. This can also mean that an important relationship or important partner will come into your life. Another indicator is when the progressed Venus makes a conjunction to your natal sun. Another indicator for this is when we use the solar return. Um, and one of the indicators is when you have the sun or you have Jupiter, Saturn, or the North Node in the seventh house in your solar return. This is also a big indicator for a new relationship coming into your life. Another indicator is when um, the Venus in your progressed chart, when Venus in your solar return makes a conjunction to your natal descendant. For example, let's just say that the Venus in your progressed chart is at let's say 16 degrees of Capricorn, and if you have the descendant, your natal descendant, yeah, so the descendant in your birth chart is at 16 degrees of Capricorn. In this case, you see, solar return Venus is conjunct your natal descendant. This can also be a powerful indicator for a new relationship coming into your life. So I hope I just didn't confuse you, and you understood my techniques, my methods of predicting the future. And like I mentioned before, in case you never did your progress chart, you never worked with progressions, I highly recommend you do that, because progressions can show us important or fated events happening into our life. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.